A protest group to free 5 Cuban men from prison is holding a rally. Valley View News reporter Eileen Carranza reports on the controversial issue.
Since 1998, demonstrations have been held in protest of the sentence of the Cuban men. The men were arrested, convicted, and imprisoned for committing conspiracy against the U.S. For 12 years, federal prosecutors have said the verdicts were just. And for 12 years, the protesters have said the men should be free. The men obtained employment at a U.S. Naval Air Station to send reports to the Cuban government. Better known as the Cuban Five, René González, Antonio Guerrero, Fernando González, Gerardo Hernandez, and Ramon Labanino. According to official organizers, the men did not commit any harm or have any weapons on them while in the U.S.
So I'm here to demand, even though it's been since 1998 and these poor innocent men have been sitting in a U.S. prison for too long, I'm here to demand that they are let free.
The National Committee to Free the Cuban Five has done forums, video showings, and publicity work to help build a broad support.
From the United States side, can't be in a position where people from other countries, especially a country that the United States has been at odds with for the last 30 years, is basically infiltrating the U.S. naval bases, getting information, providing that information to the Cuban government.
Over 250 committees have been established. States across the U.S. and countries around the world, including Germany, Argentina, the U.K., and countless other countries, held demonstrations in the month of September. Back to you, Brittany.
Matt, actually, the largest passenger airline in the U.S. just got a little bigger. Southwest Airlines has agreed to buy AirTran for more than $1 billion. AirTran is the 8th largest carrier in the nation. The buyout means Southwest Airlines will fly to 37 new cities. The good news for customers is Southwest will keep its policy on not charging for checked bags. Passengers of AirTran are charged $20 for their first checked bag. AirTran will be closing by the first half of next year, and the two companies will combine in 2012. Coming up, Southern California experiences a heat wave.
And a fundraising event for the Los Angeles Museum County of Art raises nearly $5 million.
A dozen UCLA doctors and members of the Defense Department have joined to produce a training video. The goal of the project is to prepare military doctors for the wounds that they will face on the battlefield. The video focuses on terrorist weapon of choice, the roadside bomb. More than 80% of U.S. battle injuries were the result of improvised explosive devices. The videos include detailed descriptions of how to perform emergency surgeries to stabilize wounded soldiers.
Many so-called puppy mills are being shut down across the country over charges of inhumane treatment of dogs. A group in Los Angeles is trying to showcase the problem. Valley View reporter Matt Vanderveer has the story.
Siberian Huskies are just one of the many purebred dogs in such high demand. But what may look beautiful and regal on the outside may come at a price. Daniel Ross got his husky from a pet store in Colorado 10 years ago intending to breed him. What he later found out halted any hope of that.
His blood doesn't clot. He's a free bleeder. So if he's cut, he will bleed profusely and have to go to the vet to get the bleeding to stop.
Daniel discovered his dog had von Willebrand's after he rushed Killian to the vet for a nosebleed. Daniel became suspicious of the pet store's honesty because all of Killian's AKC papers gave him a clean bill of health. Soon after, Daniel found out Killian was a product of a puppy mill. Stories like this are why PuppyMillAwareness.org has sponsored an event to raise awareness of puppy mills. There were many puppy mill victims at the event, most with health issues. Veterinarian Liz Edmondson says she's all too familiar with the horrors of puppy mills. She says there just isn't enough regulation.
Well, a big part of it is that the USDA is supposed to regulate these breeders, and they are licensed by the USDA. So the puppy mills and the pet stores will tell you that it's a USDA breeder, and the public thinks that that means something, but the USDA doesn't really have the resources to enforce.
Organizations from across the United States were there to encourage adoption. PuppyMillAwareness.org says there are a couple of red flags that make an online puppy mill distinct. One, they sell several breeds, and two, they'll usually ship out the pup without even meeting the buyer first. Some say adopting from shelters hurts pet store business. I interviewed a pet store worker earlier in the year who said he's afraid that the recent law in West Hollywood that prohibits the sale of cats and dogs may pass in his city.
I work solely off of commission, and we buy these puppies for a couple hundred, and we sell them for, 4, 5, 6 more times than what they're worth. And if this passes, then it's ultimately going to affect my pocketbook.
Puppy mills remain a point of contention among animal rights activists and breeders, but it doesn't seem like puppy mills are going anywhere, at least in the near future. In Los Angeles, I'm Matt Vanderveer reporting for Valley View News.
Hundreds of Israelis gathered on a section of the West Bank to once again build Jewish settlements. The government lifted a freeze that cleared the way for nearly 2,000 new housing units to break ground claimed by both the Palestinians and Israelis. Palestinian officials say they will walk away from negotiations if building resumes in territory they consider part of the Palestinian state. But Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has not pulled out, saying he wants to discuss the issues with the Arab League. Right-wing leaders in Israel are now calling upon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to annex all the settlements in the West Bank in order to protect them under a possible peace deal. The 10-month-old moratorium ended on Sunday at midnight, and building resumed Monday morning. And now we turn to Nicole Ciccarelli for the latest buzz in entertainment, including that new movie about the billionaire who started Facebook.
Here's the scoop. 5 of the 7 highest-rated television premieres this fall are comedies. Fox's Glee was up 60% in viewing with adults 18 to 49 years of age. ABC's Modern Family was up 21%. NBC's The Office, CBS's The Big Bang Theory, and 2.5 Men were also highly rated. The Los Angeles County Museum of Art celebrated the opening of its newest exhibition hall. Hollywood stars like Tom Hanks and wife Rita Wilson, plus reality starlets Nicole Richie and Kim Kardashian attended the event. The 45,000 square foot space designed by architect Renzo Piano includes a trio of inaugural exhibits. Such exhibits feature giant basalt carvings rarely seen outside of Mexico, European painting and sculptures, and the evolution of modern dress on fashion's past. A cartoon teaching kids about the environment continues spreading its message after 20 years of being on the air. Captain Planet had wild characters, each with their own superpower rings to save the planet. The rings represented wind, earth, water, and heart. Together, they would summon the captain to help clean up the environment. Ted Turner created the cartoon 20 years ago after being inspired as a child by nature. Turner says he hopes to motivate kids to get off the video games and into the outdoors. A percentage of the cartoon's licensing sales goes to a nonprofit organization that teaches children to live more eco-friendly lives. A movie based on the founding of Facebook opened at the New York Film Festival to some controversy. The social network is based on a book about the rags to riches story of the site's co-founder. Mark Zuckerberg did not cooperate with the film, but the producer of the movie says it's the absolute true story. Zuckerberg says his life is not that dramatic. The movie opens in the U.S. on October 1st.